Hi.
Alright, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Hi, welcome to what, like the 7th
I think it's
episode?
the 8th episode.
The 8th now?
Yeah, because the stream title for the last one, it was left at number 7, so I think this is 8.
Okay. Dude, this laptop is so new, I don't even know how to mute it. This is a problem.
Yeah,
on Twitch. Yeah. Boom. Okay, so everybody, thank you for tuning in. I have Mudkip, Chuck.
Cobb.
It's Vegas, right?
Yeah.
I always thought it was Vegas.
It's Lithuanian, so you can just say however you want. It's probably correct.
Do you is that like a pet peeve of yours if people are like, saying your name?
I don't know how to pronounce my last name. I look at it and just like, it's Vigus or like Vegas.
Vegas.
And we got Cobb in the chat. Shout out to Cobb.
Yo, what up, Cobb?
Yo, are you what are you doing this weekend? Are you going to like the event in Indiana?
No, I very much work. My boss was very nice enough to give me Royal Flush and Smash and Splash off. That's like 2 weekends in a month, so I gotta work that. I gotta roll those burritos.
It's understandable. And as soon as I figure out how to, again, guys, brand new laptop here. Actually,
so you press the full screen button, so just press escape.
I'm pressing escape. It's actually not
doing anything. Here, let me see your
But
killing me, Smalls.
So, Chuck, you've been a member of the community for a long time. We met at the big house.
Nope.
No, not the big house. I got this. It was like it was super sweet, right?
Yeah, it was June of 14.
Yeah. Wow.
That was
because of the day.
Well, no,
it was that special for you,
Chicago and all that.
What's that?
Yeah, like after I got home, that's when I moved back to Ohio, and that's why I was like hyping me.
Where did you live before that?
I was in Chicago.
You were hyping more ways than one, dude. You were drunk. You were drunk off your ass.
Had a lot of fun. It's super sweet, but I also rocked it as a volunteer and had a really great time. And then by Sunday,
not gonna deny that.
By Sunday, it was like pretty much a good turn of time.
Was that your
first?
first?
It was Armada and Muta King and like
Mango was there.
Yeah,
and Axe. I think Axe got forward that turn.
Yeah.
Was that your first time volunteering?
No, my first time volunteering was at Big House 3. I helped out with Project M. That was when I didn't even play Melee.
Jeez.
Yeah, he was just shit talking. Like I don't even remember what you were shit talking, but like it just pissed me off, and like I started shit talking back, and then like you being you just stood up for yourself. And you were like,
well, I didn't have anything to worry about. You're so free.
Oh right. Well, little did you know that we would play money match, and what was that?
It was 3-2 for you that you barely won.
I
drank half a fifth of.
He was actually very drunk. He was very intoxicated.
Actually, you did beat me the last
time. See me sober 3 years ago.
Yeah, but you took a set or two in between, so we've had a fun little rivalry.
Peach Fox.
Peach Fox is always fun. That being said,
never fun.
Again, you have been in the community for some time, and over the past year, you've really kind of rose as anybody in the Midwest knows as one of the premier volunteers, always showing up to events and making sure that they run smoothly, and I think that's great. Before we really get into Smash and Splash, which is one of the main things I want to ask you about, can you just tell us a little bit about how you initially got involved in the community and how your role has shifted over the years?
Yeah, well, I volunteered at Big House 3 for PM, and I kind of talked to Joe Guy and his crew a little bit about what I did in the past for DDR and ITG, and I was one of the coordinators for Fort Rapids, which is a huge international in-the-group tournament, and by huge I mean for a community like that, 200 people is hype. You have people from Sweden and Germany coming. Yeah, it's only 200 people, so it's really small scale.
So is that one of their big houses?
Yeah, absolutely. And then once I got involved in that, I said, hey, I have experience TOing a highly competitive game at a pretty large scale. What can I do to further that? And then they just told me to volunteer. And then I kind of got into photography around 2013, so I was actually one of the media photographers for Big House 4. And then
I remember that.
Yeah, because you can see you in videos of Top 8, I think.
Yeah.
Like in reactions after a certain set. I can't remember what set, but you just see Chuck off to the side.
That was fun because I had a little starter camera and I still haven't upgraded my lens, so I still have that little shitty camera and it's a pretty good starter. It's pretty good. But at Big House 5, I didn't even bring my camera because Joe Guy was like, hey, I have a job for you and it's not photography. And I was like, what? And so we had a Skype call with Two Shades and Joe Guy, and they put me on as volunteer coordinator, and it was a paid staff position.
Wow.
And I was my mind was blown. I felt like my esports dreams were coming true. Yeah. So I did that till Big House 6. And then Dr. Z approached me and Josh Cassell, who is now my BFF.
Robotic Fish, right?
Yeah, Robotic Fish. He's from Minnesota.
He's got an awesome Reddit presence, by the way.
He's amazing. He helped me and everyone in Big House 6 improve the scheduling system and just optimize it. And he's the logistics guy, and I'm the PR person. And we just worked together to really rock the community. And then we got hired for Genesis 4 after Big House 6. Then we're at Flush. We just did Smash and Splash. We're prepping for Shine in a couple weeks. And then Big House 7. And I'm hoping to see more. It's just been such an honor. So,
insane.
Volunteer
if you ever need senior volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely. Mitch was my senior volunteer in Smash and Splash. He was sick.
Wait, I was?
Basically.
Okay, cool. I was going to say, I
didn't
responsibility.
I mean, you were listed as a senior, but you were at the TOS a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Which was hype.
It was fun.
OSG really turned up, so thank you guys for being there. Like,
dude, yeah.
Gus, Nate, Alex,
Danny was so much work.
Nevin, all of you guys were just so wonderful.
True.
Like,
Smash
you guys
Flash was a
spoiled me.
blast.
And I just feel like so much of Ohio showed up in that tournament in general. Like, we had a lot of great representation.
The Ohio flag was the hypest thing the whole weekend.
That was amazing. And so many people from Ohio made it out of first round pools as an upset. Like Gus, for example. Danny made it out of pools as an upset. Mitch, I love you, man.
Mitch did not.
You didn't make it up.
I had a scoop. Okay, so seating sucked.
We haven't talked about this. I haven't brought it up to you yet because I didn't want to bring it up.
My pool was fucking hard, dude.
Who was in your pool?
A bunch of randoms that I never heard of, but they were good.
You lost to random people, so maybe the seating wasn't that bad because you lost to randos.
No, I actually didn't lose to them. Okay, so Shabo was the first seed, who's pretty good. And
Yeah.
then 2 through 4, we
is
all.
he Chicago? Or?
I don't know, dude. Let me finish. 2 through 4, we all tied in set counts, and then we all beat each other. But so it came down to game count, and I went 7-5, and the guy who made it out went 7-4, and like I was the only one in the pool to take a game off Shabo, and like the whole thing was bullshit in my opinion.
So if you're hanging on the ledge like that much the whole time and like biting your nails to hopefully make it through pools, that's probably more,
I know I still
that's
suck.
more indicative that you
No,
should
I
just
know
be
they're
very
not
good.
good. I know that I probably didn't deserve to make
I love
it.
you. I'm just
I know, but
sassing you.
I'm also
I
mad
gotta
at
get you on-
for.
You gotta get better, man. Same with me. I gotta get better too. I probably would have got like 129th or 100.
I'm just saying.
I'm pretty sure I did get
130.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Look at all the.
I-
Other, I'm
No,
just saying.
absolutely,
I'm
like-
just saying. Look at all the other tournament results with those people compared to my results, where we both ended the same tournament. You know.
Okay, moment of silence for Mitch's run at Smash and Splash.
Well, moment of loudness for all the other great shit I did there.
Yeah, you did kill it. Thank you.
Shout out
I also
Mitch.
got
We love
match
Mitch.
sick.
And Gibbs in the chat, that feel when Gibbs is just forgotten. We
What's
can't
up,
forget about
Gibbs?
Gibbs.
is
Gibbs
good.
making it out of pools as well. Did he volunteer? Or did he just make it out
I
of
think I
pools?
saw him pool counting a little bit for me. I
There
don't
we
think
go.
I can confirm. That was a blur. the
Yo,
whole weekend.
also, can we just point out that Dempt actually came all the way to Columbus yesterday? Dempt from fucking Neo. You know Dempt, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Dempt's a great guy. He came all the way to Columbus, 2-hour drive one way
Was that
yesterday
Matt?
for Mass.
Yeah, isn't that Matt Bidwell?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's
he
like
came.
so-
He came like just for like a local that we hold in our house. That was in this very house,
Nice.
and it was awesome. And Gibbs actually knocked him out of winners in the 2-0 set. So shouts to Gibbs. He's been putting in
Who
work
is this
lately.
again? Samus?
Samus.
Yeah.
Great as
He's a
best.
Samus purist. He's like super weight dashing all across the
CDT
stage.
chance.
Yeah. But thanks for telling us a little bit
Suck a
about
I know.
Chuck. I appreciate for you answering our question a moment ago. Tell us a little bit about your involvement in the community. Of course, we do want to talk about Smash and Splash. I'll tell you that it just had like a very similar vibe, in my opinion, to Big House. Like it just felt that the whole community was there and everybody was having a great time, and it was just like a weekend-long party. What do you think went well, and what are you really proud of in terms of what happened and what you made happen in Smash and Splash?
Oh, Smash and Splash was really hype. I think we put PM back on the market. I want to say this publicly, and I plan on making a Reddit post and a Facebook post very soon in the next week, but I guess I'll just say it here now. PM has always been a really self-supported community, but at Smash and Splash, they ran themselves. They had 2 recording setups and 2 stream setups. It was the most efficiently ran tournament of the venue. All the TOs and everyone was always on point. All the players had a great time. It was literally like the seating went well. There was not a single hiccup, I don't think. And if it was, they covered it up very fast and professionally. I heard nothing but like insane praise for PM. And like as a PM, like originally a PM starter player, I'm so proud of that community. So it was really great to be a part of that, to see like my little love interest of a game, like my mistress kind of do well in her little scene. Because PM is always like everyone's mistress, you know?
Oh, sure.
PM's so fun.
Stream running was insane and really fun. At Smash and Splash, I kind of slid in and helped out with Melee every day and the Gamers HQ TV stream, and I really got to experience what it's like to like run around like crazy and delegate a couple seniors and like find players, get food, water, talk to the people and queue them up and let the people know with headsets and like know who's on deck, who's in the hole. It was just a lot of micromanaging, but it all just wound up really pulling it together. Like, I think I did the most. If I had a pedometer, I definitely ran more than twice as many miles than I did at Genesis or Big House, because I kind of was Josh and Val were at the desk and very in charge of brackets and data entry and like the very like the cogs of what's going on.
Yeah.
But I went around and oiled all those cogs and like put everything out and made sure everything was running smooth, and that's what I like to do. I'm very on my feet. So
Sick metaphor, bro.
I am tired. I'm
fire.
still exhausted from that
was like a
weekend,
good
but seeing how well it went made me really happy. Everyone thought it was great, and like
Yeah.
HBox won, Armada got third. Like obviously it's a big tournament to a little stone in the history of Melee.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I was a part of that. So it's like, yeah.
Laughing with an amazing losers run.
Dude.
I still can't get over that metaphor, but yeah, I mean, I'm just
terrible.
so happy that you've taken on such a huge leadership role in the community, and you've been doing so much work for the community. I hope you feel appreciated. I hope that you know that everybody in the Midwest is cheering for you and so happy you've been so successful.
I
and
absolutely do.
that's one of the main reasons I wanted to get you on the podcast, just so we could shed a little bit of light on a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff that doesn't often get brought to the forefront. Yeah. But we need people like you, and I think the community is lucky to have people like you. That being said, I know that there was a lot of good that came from Smash and Splash. Do you feel like you took anything and really learned anything from the event that you can apply to the future to become a better, volunteer coordinator, just a better, member of the community in a leadership role in general?
A lot of it really comes down to optimizing attrition in a schedule. Not only do we need to get volunteers to sign up, but a lot of people just still don't show up for things, and we try to make it very black and white and very structured for you as a volunteer. We want to cater around your experience as a competitor and a spectator, regardless of if you decide to enter into events or not. So Smash and Splash's challenge was you have 4 events going on, 64 PM, Melee, and Smash 4.
Yeah.
And people want to volunteer, and then we have a reward system of X amount of shifts equals Y prize. And the hardest balance that if we're going into Shine, and we made it very clearly communicated with our TOs, our bosses, these are people that contract us and do this for us, is we really just want to make sure the community feels elevated and empowered for what they're doing. Obviously it takes a village to raise a tournament. That's actually an analogy I use a lot. We don't have the budget. We're not big enough. We don't have the ESPN. We don't have the Nintendo support that we would like. And sorry, I'm going to be real. And we need volunteers. So if we can at least give them a t-shirt and just make them feel great and appreciated, because we're all here because we love Smash. So that's the most important part of my job, is making sure that all my babies feel fucking taken care of, because I see them work so hard for something they care so much about, and I remember being there, and it's really important. So I don't know.
Well, I can say, at least from my perspective, all the senior volunteers, especially the coordinators, you and Josh, it was definitely apparent that you guys both, that you guys wanted to run a good tournament, but also just you wanted everyone to share in that, and it wasn't you guys were leading just to have your names at the top of the paper, but instead you wanted to bring everyone together and make it a good tournament as a group effort, for sure.
Absolutely. And you can conduct and puppeteer all the strings you want, but ultimately it's up to the hype moments of the players that really give you those memories. But if we have less problems or issues or bottlenecks or hiccups, more people can focus on that moment when they're watching Zane versus Leffen. Yeah. That's something that everyone remembers about Smash and Splash, because there wasn't a bunch of bullcrap that went wrong. Yeah, there wasn't a bunch of late pulls and horrible this or horrible that. People talk about payouts and bad this and bad seating and blah, 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 pound or whatever, Apex. We didn't have any of that, so people can focus on the golden moments. And that's why I care so much. Because everyone can go home with that energy. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
thanks.
When I showed up for my first shift, I thought, just the way everything was kind of going, everything was kind of frantic, because I don't think things were going as they were originally planned. And when I got there, when I showed up, I was like, this tournament's just going to run slow, and that's just going to be it. We're going to be here late into the night both nights. But, every time I checked my phone or, check the clock or whatever, we were right on schedule the days 1 and 2. And I was blown away at that. I was honestly, I was impressed by the rest of the staff and, how, how well they're running pools, how well everything is just getting brought back to the TO desk, put into Smash GG, all that kind of stuff. It was really, really impressive with, just the sheer amount of people that were in the room. When there's that many people in one room and you're trying to navigate through these little paths between these tables, it's not easy to get a pool started and going and then get your results back to the TO desk and all that kind of stuff. It was really, really impressive stuff. So
it's all a process that needs to be streamlined.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why we have the volunteers to be pool captains. We have a senior, people to put data in at the desk. It all needs to just be a process that should be expedited by hopefully volunteers.
Now, the one thing I noticed, maybe you can shed some light on this. I'm sure you guys have kind of brainstormed a lot of things for this problem, but to me it seemed like you guys were really dying for volunteers towards the end, not getting enough people to sign up. I remember 3 weeks before the date of the tournament, Nate was like, hey, we really need volunteers, can you and your buddies sign up? And I was like, yeah, and I put it off, and then like a week before he's like, hey, can you like please, like we really need people. So what I was thinking is like they create like a new Facebook group, like for like there was a Smash and Splash volunteer Facebook group, right? And like that's great for coordination. Have you guys considered like having like a huge like community wide or maybe just region wide volunteer group so you can kind of retain people who volunteered at old events and also more easily market to like people that have already volunteered in general? Or do you guys have any other ideas for that?
Well, I think gives it the actual answer, but like I think half of it is just when people volunteer for events, that's when they decide if they want to keep doing it or like that's their one thing. Like when I volunteered for Big House 6, it was just kind of on a whim, but I TO'd a couple of events here and I was like, this will be fun, it'll be easy, and like I'll probably get seating. And then I realized during that experience, I was like, this is like something I really want to put time into because like feeling a part of the tournament and like feeling a part of that community, like really putting effort to make Big House like the world-renowned like efficiency machine it is. It really felt good to me to like be a part of that, and so that's why like I came back to Smash Splash and did it again. So like I think like while there was some issues trying to get people for this event, it was like the people that want to be there are gonna like sign up early anyways. So I don't think like having I think having a big group might help marginally, but I think the people that are gonna be in that group are gonna probably sign up anyways. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just what I think.
Good point.
But Chuck might have, I don't know.
After Big House 6, when I was blessed to have Josh hop on board, we discussed the idea of a white and black list, and we kind of just we know if you don't show up for your shift and we scheduled you, we know who you are, you know. So that means like, hey, like I know that it was a volunteer role and we're not paying you, but like it's a disrespect to our time.
Yeah,
if
and we can't
put your name on a time
things.
slot,
right?
You know, so it's like we do the best we can to reward you, but like show up for your shifts and like just help out a little bit. It's for the love of the Smash, you know. So we do that. And then we have a white list of obviously just stupendous, beautiful people, and like we don't even update. Like we used to have a document after like Genesis maybe, but we now just know those people by name and by heart and by like voice and face because they either show up to multiple events that we're able to be a part of, but we just interact on Facebook and there's a Discord. So we have a Discord as well.
Okay.
And we just started that after Royal Flush, and we're really trying to grow that. So we're gonna use that for Shine, have channels. So we have like TOs and streamers, and then like volunteer coordinators, and then senior channel and things like that. Facebook unfortunately is still the most efficient use medium of communication in my opinion, and like what Mitchell said is some people don't want to do it after one time, so I think it's like would be superfluous to have like a Midwest volunteer group because it would be really hard to like make sure like why are these people still in the group, they don't want to volunteer anymore, or you're in this group but you're just volunteering for this event, right, but there's 3 events going on in that region, you know, like it needs to be very categorized and like filed. It's we're still working on that, and it's always a process. Suggestions.
I just think like because of like the huge rise of like so many big tournaments, even like in this region, like in the past year, it just seems like the tournaments are getting bigger and bigger and more plentiful. That like the need is almost like getting bigger faster than like the supply of people willing to volunteer. So that seems to be like one of the main like problems, but you guys have done a pretty good job in my opinion of, you know, finding ways around that. So we don't have a lot of time left, so I kind of wanted to move on to a few other things that I know that you and I are really excited to talk about. Real quick, can you touch upon the things that you're really excited about moving into the summer? What else are you volunteering? I know you mentioned this before, but what are you volunteering? What are your roles? And what are you excited about for this upcoming summer?
Josh, Val, and I will be staffing Shine as volunteer coordinators.
I'm excited for that.
Colin Fife is one of the TOs with She and Big Blue Esports, and they were at Genesis 4, and I had the pleasure to talk to them a lot and get to know them. And they kind of we talked about it briefly with them and Matt.Zeb and stuff, and so we're doing that. And it's in New England, it's in Boston. August 25th, I believe, is the date. It's really exciting. We have a lot of swag and goodies for our volunteers. We're going to set up a great schedule. Colin's actually already getting us the schedule in advance to really he's really supporting us and helping us rock it, and we're ready to rock him and show him what we do. Because he was a part of Top 64 at Genesis and was kind of with us at the TO desk. So he knows what we're going to do. And after hopefully him seeing Royal Flush and Smash or Splash, he's going to be blown away because we've just learned so much in just 2 tournaments since Genesis. Yeah. And the New England scene is not ready. But
when do sign-ups start for that?
Pretty soon here. I actually don't know.
Everybody sign up and also
sign up for Shine. It's going to be super lit.
Yeah.
A lot of people are confirmed. It already has a lot.
It's becoming one of the biggest events of the year.
Well, there's like 8 of those tournaments for like Melee Nami Top 100. I think Shine was even in it last year.
It was.
So I mean,
Shine's huge.
Shine is a major. Shine is a part of the circuit, unofficial circuit.
Awesome.
So It's definitely something you should attend.
Nate says he's trying to make it to Shine.
Who? Nate.
Yeah.
Yes, Nate is
awesome.
the OG.
Yeah, like you and Nate were the two people that I saw moving the most quickest on the floor, quickest obviously, and then like I just like never saw you guys. And when I saw you guys, I'd like try to get a word in edgewise, say, "Hey, what's up?" And like Nate is like one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Like he is always willing to stop and talk. And in that moment, like he'd be like, "Yo, what's up?" And he's just like in a whole other world. So you guys can get in the zone, and that's what they need.
Honestly, that's how I felt too. Like I was just like so when I was 2 times when I was running pools and when I was like doing data entry. Like I was just trying to like go as ham as possible, and like people would come up to because it's at the front of the TFS, and people would come up ask me questions, and like I'll be real, guys. When you go to a national, please use common sense. If you see a melee setup with a number 3 above it, and you're in pool 3, go to that and don't ask me, please. I know like that's what the TFS is for, but like it's so simple to figure out.
It's
you think that, but like that's a lot of there's a lot of fielding of that type of like.
No, I that's what I'm saying. I got so many questions when I was trying to do data entry, and I was just passing them off to people around me because I was just trying to go in on that, on that data stuff.
If I can say something about Nate real quick, he should have had a pedometer app on his phone.
Yeah, he
probably ran more than me, and I never saw the guy move faster.
He was
lost like 11 pounds.
I was gonna say he was looking great towards the end of the week.
He is super lean. The boy sweat like a sauna. Yeah,
so,
sorry.
No, cool. So there's a few things I want to cover. One thing I just thought of that I want to ask is, like, you've come a long way in terms of your role in the community. Where do you see yourself in like a year or so from now? What are your goals moving forward now that you've already accomplished so much?
Oh gosh.
And if you don't want to, if you don't feel,
no, it's okay. I'm humbled, but with volunteer coordination, I don't think I've conquered and accomplished enough. This is something that's Josh and I, and then now Val. We just Val is from Philadelphia. She's great.
I met her. She's awesome.
Oh, yeah, she's wonderful. Good. So now it's the 3 of us, and like it's growing, and we have like a consistent whitelist of seniors, and like there's just so much more optimization we can do for like the structure and the schedule, and just streamlining every single department and supplying them with the help that they need. And you have all these stream people competing for each other, like Melee Every Day, VGBC. Back in the day, there was who would do the Genesis streams,
Showdown Smash.
Yeah, like things like that. And there's not a lot of people doing what me and Josh and Val are doing now. And not that I would mind it if they start doing it, because it's something that obviously needs to be done. But this is very new territory, and every tournament we're learning new things, and it's a whole process. So I don't want to stop doing that at all. But I will say that I spoke with Tafa Kents and asked him for some career advice, because I want to start using my voice and my personality a little more in the community, because I feel like I'm just a behind the scenes like staff guy.
Yeah.
And like I'm a loud, crazy gay gypsy, so I should just like yell at everyone some more and sass the community up a little more. So
yeah, you've got a personality to come more to the forefront.
You could be a good like stage host.
Yeah, honestly,
what I want to do is like MCing or just like
that is more fun. That's something I see you do.
I just want to elevate Smash and just make it hype. Like Smash is so hype.
Yes.
Like even like just at Smash and Slash and Saints Gaming Live, Mewtwo King cracked the code and whopped all over HBox with Fox just like 2 days ago. Couldn't even let the puff breathe. Whereas Armada and Leffen are like running around trying to figure it out, and Mewtwo King just shut him down. That happened 2 days ago. 20 years.
Yeah,
so
it's going, man.
What's up?
Welcome. You ready to go in like 10-15 minutes?
Yeah.
Cool. We're just finishing up a podcast real quick, so
no problem.
Thanks. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just talking about how like things are still happening. So as long as like you can just be hype about Smash, that's what I want to do. Is use my voice and platform.
What tells me that you're gonna be successful and achieve any goal you set out to in the community, in my opinion, is that though in from my perspective, you've already accomplished so much. Like from your perspective, you're like, I still have so far to go. Like I haven't done nearly as much as I want to, and you're always wanting more. Yeah. And it's so productive because you want more, not only from yourself, but also what you know you can give the community. I'm excited to see where that's going to take you in a year.
Thanks. I am too. I just want to meet as many Smashers and elevate the community. Like, it's just my favorite game. Why
not? I think we have like time for 1 or 2 more questions. So you and I talked about this a little earlier. I'm really excited to get your take on this. But a lot of the people in the chat, and I don't think Mitch has actually seen this yet, but Hacks Money released a video 3 days ago. It already had, like, this morning, I checked, like 76,000 views, and that tells me that this is something that the community really cares about right now. And though some people might not want to talk about it and think it's not that important, it's clear that a lot of people do, and there's a huge philosophical debate going on right now about the future of our community and what we're going to be talking about in terms of, like, controller legality. So I know you actually watched the video earlier today after I brought that up to you. What exactly do you think in terms of Hacks' proposed solution to the inherent problems with the GameCube controller? Do you think that it's like a valid solution to the problem, or do you see it creating more problems?
So like I watched it about an hour and a half ago, and I'm still kind of formulating like a solid opinion, so I'm going to speak very neutral, but there's such a fine line when it comes to like modding and accessibility and practicality, and like I think we need to think big picture about everything. Melee is already very criticized for having a high entry level barrier for tech skill, and like people like Street Fighter and other fighting games that are pretty well established critique us for that, and that's a very intimidating factor for new players. And somehow we're still doing it. But things like Smashbox and those notches and mod chips, and not to say that I don't agree with notches, because that's where it's frustrating, because I softly agree with like controller mods like notches. But for something like a Smashbox to exist, or a mod chip that like removes that like dash thing, is that accessible? Is it going to be produced and mass produced to where it's convenient and just you can hop right in and still compete? A community cannot grow without that type of energy, and the more the smaller that bubble gets, and the more like open source it gets, where like different regions and different people and different like TOs or tournaments start to prefer one thing over another, it starts to create distance and detaches the community. And I think the most important thing is we're not there yet. Like Nintendo, like blowing it up HBox, Smash again. Nintendo is not supporting us as much as we want. We are not on ESPN as much as we probably should be now. We are not as big as Overwatch.
We're at least on ESPN.
Right, we are.
Which is insane.
But we could be doing more with our community. Like, I'm so grateful that we're at EVO every year. But that's always like hope we get in. And it's like,
exactly.
Like, I don't think this is the time to be doing those things. I think it's interesting to think about. And then there's also the idea of like, are we ready to open that new level? If everyone has a Smashbox and it is easily accessible, now we have to phase out GameCube controllers. That's like years down the line. But I mean, like, all these little things are implying abolishing, or not abolishing, but just kind of things are becoming obsolete then.
Yeah.
And are the things that are becoming the new supposed standard or projected standard, are they going to be accessible? I don't know. I just think that there's an intersection, and we need to respect that. We need to appeal to the most amount of people that want to play the game competitively, and that also considers newer people.
Of course, those are great points, and I think that you're right when you say that like all the different modifications and things that we're doing with controllers can be intimidating to somebody just getting to the scene. They might think, I don't have the time, I don't know how to do this, I don't know what they're what's a dashback, and maybe they might think it's just too much, and this game isn't easy enough to get into.
Even frame data is like really overwhelming for like a first weeker.
It can be.
They're like, whoa, with 4 frames, and like jump squat, and like
that's a thing that happens in fighting games a lot. You have this like huge casual audience, because I mean, like, obviously things like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat are much bigger. They have a much bigger casual audience in Melee, because Melee is 15 years old. But when people come into the game and they want to start taking it seriously, frame data is this huge, crazy thing that nobody really understands at first, because it's like, wake up on frame 3, or
it's,
like
it's very abstract.
It's unless you understand it, that's when it becomes concrete, and it's like, okay, if I push this button now, it's gonna hit. If I push it a frame late, it's not gonna hit. Like things like that. But to anyone who's beginning, it's such a big.
And it's the hardest part is like not just knowing the frame data, but like learning how to apply it in application. And that is a huge barrier when you have like canceling and fast falling and a lot of things that other well-established fighters don't have. So
getting back to the point I was trying to make, we've established that like there are inherent problems with our game, and in part our community with barrier to entry. And some of those problems might not be very easily solvable, but I think that there's an argument to be made that the Arduino solution provided by Hacks here, I don't think it's going to do anything to really hurt those problems. I think if anything, it will make it easier, because right now, like, let's say you have like a kind of crappy GameCube controller, like it can't shield drop whatsoever, and like you finally start getting some decent tech skill, but like you feel like you can't like really push yourself to the next level because you don't have like somebody who can teach you how to shield drop notch.
Wait.
What I'm saying is, like, now we can take a lot of different GameCube controllers that right now would take a lot more expertise to get to the level where you'd want, even as a somewhat competitive player. It's becoming a lot easier to get regular GameCube controllers up to snuff, if you will. So I think that that's actually, like, a way that it's making it more easily accessible. Like, you don't necessarily have to buy, like, a really nice GameCube controller online. You can just kind of use this new chip, and if you, like, find somebody who can solder it for you, or Hacks again is going to be doing this service for people for like $20, I think, or something like that. I think that that's great, and if he's providing that service and allowing so many people to fix so many problems with their controllers in this way, the question is, should we allow this? Like, should we allow people to like change the way that their controller is reading their inputs and stuff like that? That is a whole nother issue, but I'm not too worried about its effect. I don't think it's going to like, really intimidate so many new players away from joining the community that it's going to do more harm than good.
I don't.
Yeah. So to argue for you and against me from earlier, it's very similar to asking DDR and the group players to play on bad pads when the pads could just be better. Like
exactly.
It's like the whole point of DDR would be to like hit the arrows at the right time. But if the sensors are not as good as they should be, then why are you being punished for something that's not part of the gameplay assessment?
Exactly.
So if you know that you like are doing this input for dashback, and you know that mentally would win you the neutral reset or the evasion that you need to get away from a situation, you know what I mean? Like, if that is the optimal decision and then your controller holds you back, how is that fair to you for making the right call?
Exactly.
So it's just a very soft and weird way to approach, and I think we should err on the side of caution and like very much approach Smashbox and these mod ships very chill.
Yeah, I think it's important that there's discussions like of this nature occurring. I want to see it at all levels, like me and you, the same way I want to see Taffakins and Homemade Waffles talking about it. But I think that the best point that Hacks made, kind of almost what you were saying just now, people very clearly care about like optimization with their controller. And they prove that when they get their like notches in their controller, and when they buy a bunch of different GameCube controllers trying to find the perfect one that can dash back because it's malfunctioning, and so on and so forth. So people clearly value that. And if Hacks is able to provide so much of that value to so many people for such little cost, like for potentially $2, download a file, get it on the chip, connect it to your GameCube controller, all of a sudden all of your problems that you used to have are just gone. Like you can't. Like, he's just giving you exactly what you've proven you want. It might not be the way you thought you wanted it, but that's almost like when like Henry Ford created the car when everybody thought they wanted a faster horse. So I think a lot of people are kind of skeptic towards being open-minded to things because they're worried it could open the door for people cheating, and I think that we do need to be apprehensive and skeptical about any of the dangers that this provides. But I think that we should at least be excited about the potential that what Hacks is trying to do for the community, how much of an impact it could have.
I agree. I'm all, in a psychological sense, I'm all for anything that deepens meta. Mm-hmm. I think that if the controller is an obsolete medium for playing that game, and there's something better like a Smashbox or a mod chip, or something that can optimize and improve that, we should go for it. But to a timeline of a very strong introduction to a mass audience. I don't know how to phrase that any better, I'm sorry.
No,
but
that was great.
You need people to be on board with why we're doing it, why it's important to the community, and why it's big picture thinking, and not just this event's going to do that, or we're going to allow that, or you can play like this now. It needs to be like, this will make Smash different because.
Exactly. And I don't want to get too much into this. We are running out of time, but one of the things that I think is a kind of a problem with the community is because we are grassroots, we have leadership, but a lot of the leadership is de facto. Like, Taffakins, in my mind, has kind of become the de facto spokesperson of the community just because of how, successful he's been in, pushing us, marketing us to esports, working with Yahoo Esports, for example, writing articles, doing MIOM.
He's earned it.
He has earned it.
If you're going to come at people, you better come correct.
Exactly.
Tapo stats are always correct.
I'm not going to dispute those.
I'm not mad about
In fact, there was one time, I think, at Big House 6, and I was shouting and shit talking with somebody, and he overheard me spout some incorrect stat, and he just corrected me right then and there, and it was pretty funny. Not gonna lie, he put me right in my place.
I love it.
But with that being said, we lack elected or really organized leadership. So when there's all these decisions to be made, it's I guess at the end of the day, it's up to individual tournament organizers, but. With wobbling, for instance, it was a really, really slow process of legalizing those once all the major tournament organizers were fine, we can do this. And then on the micro level, the local events were well, if it's legal at Big House, we should at least get experience against it at, Arcade Legacy in Cincy or something like that. But my point here is one of the main problems is that we don't really know who to look to in terms of leadership. Everybody has their own opinion, and it almost makes you to wonder what is going to happen and how is it going to happen. Will a decision be made, or will a bunch of different main tournament organizers just kind of reach their own decision and not necessarily represent the will of the majority of the community?
No, I think what we need to do is say our Hail Marys every night and pray to the Smash Illuminati gods of the TO summits and hope that they write a really good screenplay for how we're going to introduce those concepts, because you know, they're always working and they're always being a part of the staff and teams of all these events. As you know, we script everything and we write everything, and it's all WWF and it's all fake, and you know.
Well, with that being said, Chuck,
scripted.
Kip, thank you so much for everything you do for the community.
Thank you
For coming out to Columbus. Hope you had a good time. We're actually about to head over to a venue very close to the Smash House that is yet to be disclosed. Most of you watching probably know where it is, but we're going to be meeting to kick out some of the details for a new tournament series that's going to be coming to Columbus, Ohio very soon, and I'm really excited about it. Hopefully. So for everybody who tuned in, thank you so much. I am Deese.
I should just stop it before he stops talking. It'd be really funny.
That'd be pretty funny. Are we still going?
Yeah, we're still going.
Just like your decent melee.
Well, I'm done. So
Prince showed up just as we're ending. Bye, Prince.